Hello friends, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Elise, and this is my mystical bookshelf. And today I have another story, not an original story, but another book review. Last week I was kind of trying out reading my own work, my own original content, if you will. But this week I have decided to review What Happened to Rachel Riley. This is a book by Claire Swinarski. She's a Catholic author, and I'm asking the question, does she have what it takes to write good kids' books? And is her faith reflected in this book specifically? So let's get into it. Thank you for joining me today. Alright, so What Happened to Rachel Riley by Claire Swinarski is basically about this young girl who is 12. She's about to turn 13, and she moved to a new school, and she is struggling to make friends. She's kind of quiet, a little bit awkward. You know, the typical young kid, young girl stuff that everybody goes through, really. And she wants to know what happened to this other young lady named Rachel Riley, as per the title of the book. And it's sort of a mystery about what happens. And I noticed what I thought was interesting. It's sort of mixed media. So there's some chapters that are like an email, and there's some chapters that are narrated by Anna. So it's a little bit confusing. I personally didn't actually read the book. I listened to it on Libby, and I thought the narrator was great. She was spot on with how I thought Anna would sound, and she was great for the other characters too. There was also another great cast of people reading this book, so there was like different voices based on who was talking, and I always find that interesting, and I find that engaging. And this audiobook was actually really short. It doesn't really look that short as an actual book, but I mean, I guess about 6 hours is usually how long 300 pages probably takes to read in one day, because that's about how long the audiobook was. It was about 6 hours. So I had finished it in about one day at work with like 4 hours left over. So that's your timeline for that. But this book asks some really good questions regarding harassment and other types of bullying and class systems at middle schools, and how girls are treated and how boys treat them and how people treat them as a whole. It kind of asks the question of what is going on in middle school, really? Like, that's kind of what the question I got from it, is how is middle school experience changing as the world changes? Because when I was in middle school, there wasn't really social media. Nobody really had a smartphone. I didn't get a smartphone until I was 16. No, I got a smartphone in college. I had a normal phone, like a flip phone, when I was 16, or I might have gotten it maybe when I was 14, but between those ages. So it's kind of like asking the question is, how does social media really affect kids? And it has some really good commentary. And I know from personal experience that Claire is a Catholic woman. She is the Catholic feminist. If people follow her email subscription, I know she talks about a lot of activist topics, especially feminism and what feminism means as a Catholic woman, because it definitely doesn't mean the same thing as secular woman. And I think that is the real heart of the story, is Claire is bringing her Catholic feminist views into this book, into Anna's character. And Anna is Polish and has Polish heritage, and she even speaks Polish. And I know Claire, I think her husband is Polish, so she probably sparked inspiration from that. But this book is just really interesting with its commentary. And it talks about how there's this game that is played in middle schools, in this world especially, where the boys kind of act unsavory towards the girls. And it really made me reflect on my middle school experience and how did boys treat other girls at my school. I mean, no boys really talked to me when I was in middle school. I was kind of shy. I mean, sometimes I got picked on for being quiet, which, I mean, is natural. I never really talked a whole lot in middle school, so, I mean, I can kind of relate to, like, Anna being awkward and stuff, because that's totally how I was. And I really only had, like, 1 or 2 friends in middle school, and later in high school, we kind of had a group of, like, nerdy girls, I guess, who were close friends with me. Not that nerdy is a bad thing, because it's totally not, but it just kind of made me reflect, how did the boys treat the popular girls in middle school? And how they treat them in this book is very astonishing to me, and I was trying to remember how was that addressed when it was my age, when I was their age. And I don't really remember. I don't think we had any policies against girls being treated differently by boys, or boys acting inappropriate, because I know boys acted inappropriate a lot when I was in school. They were loud, they were obnoxious, they kind of did things that were a little unsavory, and that was like the main purpose of this book, is showcasing how maybe we shouldn't say the phrase, let boys be boys, because that's really what the heart of the book, between the feminism and that statement, it is really like the meat and potatoes of what the book is about. And it's about harassment, essentially, and how maybe even though it seems funny to some people, it's not funny to those who's actually happening to them, because the game is basically the boys slap the girls on the butt, and it's like a point system based on who's quote unquote quote attractive to the boys. And the more the girl is attractive to the boys, the more points they get. And it was really kind of weird. It made me feel sad a little bit that things haven't like changed a whole lot from when I was in school to now. And it might even be worse now with so many issues that are indoctrinated in schools, and all these weird movements that are being enforced on kids, and how they're forced to talk about stuff that maybe isn't age appropriate for them to talk about. And this game it gets reported eventually by Anna, and they end up having a policy that sort of, I don't know how to say it. I guess with how they report it and how teachers react to it, because nobody really knew that this was going on, and there had to be, like, Anna had to promote like an open dialogue with everything. So, I mean, in the end, they did rewrite the policy, but it still ended up happening, even though it was a different form of the game. It wasn't like slapping girls on the butt, it was snapping their bra straps. And I don't remember that ever happening when I was in school, but maybe it did. I didn't really pay attention too much to how girls more popular than me were treated. I kind of stayed close to myself and stayed close to my other friends, and we didn't really interact with boys very much. So I think what Claire is trying to open up is a dialogue about how boys and girls should interact with each other, and how we should set an example as adults, and as teachers, if you are a teacher, how you should set an example and treat everyone with respect, because none of these girls were being respected when this game was taking place. Like, nobody wants someone to come up to them and snap their bra strap. Like, ow, that would hurt. I mean, I've snapped myself on accident, and I didn't like it. I don't think I would like it if someone else did that to me. So, and Claire doesn't like full on insert Catholicism into this book, which I found surprising. I thought maybe she would bring it up more, but maybe it's hard to in the publishing world. I mean, I think Anna is Catholic. I know they have lots of crucifixes hanging on the walls as per the description that Anna gives you of her house. But, I mean, I think it doesn't have to be explicitly, like, stated that it's a Catholic-themed book, because I think we can understand that through the actions that Anna takes and how she treats people. And it was just interesting. It was very interesting commentary. And I was really rooting for Rachel, and I felt really bad for her that she took the fall for this game, and how there was all these things that led up to her being an outcast, and she kind of took the fall for one of these other popular girls whose name is Jordan, and Jordan was really the one who had sparked the controversy in the first place, because she was the prize, and she felt really demeaned and degraded by that. And as like a 14-year-old girl, I can't imagine being objectified that much. It just really makes my heart hurt. And it's making me kind of emotional talking about it, I guess. But yeah, so they were trying to switch the ballots, and that was what sparked this controversy, because the school dance had gotten canceled because of the game, and because the barn that it was supposed to be held in got set on fire, and Rachel took the fall for it for Jordan, when Jordan was the one who actually did it, not Rachel. So I think Rachel's sacrifice was very admirable, really, because she knew that she wasn't going to be in school at this school for very much longer, because it's revealed what Anna finds out is Rachel wants to go to this music school, and she thinks, well, if I can endure 1 year of bullying, then I can make it out scot-free. And it is just interesting how, like, kids move in packs in middle school, and, like, they act differently towards each other, and how you can have this class system in schools and in work and as adults and as kids, and it really shows that people don't change. They don't really change all that much. And it was good. I mean, it wasn't as good as I had thought it would be. I mean, I liked it better than other things that I have tried to read from Claire, because Claire has some adult books too that I don't think land as well. Like, there was one book on Libby that I tried to listen to the audiobook of, and I just couldn't get into it. It was called The Funeral Ladies of Ellery County, and I had gotten emails about it, and I was excited for it. But when I started listening to it, I was like, oh, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be. And another thing that surprised me with that one especially is, like, she was writing characters that used God's name in vain, and I just didn't think that was appropriate. So I kind of wanted to drift away from the adult books and maybe go towards the children's books more, because I think Claire really hit her stride with what happened to Rachel Riley, because I know this has really good reviews on Goodreads, and I would say overall, I think I would give it 3.5, but I would round it up to 4 for being generous and for rating's sake, because I think it's a 3.5, but it has the potential to be a 4-star. And it was really good. I liked the characters. It felt relatable. It was more heavy for a kid's book than I had anticipated it being. And I really liked how it went into harassment and how it's addressed at schools and how it addressed bullying and stuff. It was really good. I don't know if I love Claire's writing, but I will try and read more of her books. And I know she has another new book coming out called The Saint Supper Club that I thought sounded interesting, but like I said, her one adult book that I tried, it didn't really land well with me, but maybe this other book will have a better impact. And I know she has another young adult book called Take It From the Top, so I kind of want to read that too. But I mean, I've had this book forever. I found it at a thrift store like last year or the year before that, and I just hadn't really felt the urge to like read it. But when I was on Libby, I was like, maybe I should just kind of look for Claire and see if I can find some of her books. That way, if I don't end up liking it, I can give this away so I don't have to have it in my collection. But I'll probably end up keeping this book. And I want to give Take It From the Top a shot, because I know that one sounded interesting to me as well. But that is going to be it for this book review. I will have more original stories coming. I might do this thing where I do every other video. So like this past Sunday, which would have been March 15th, I'll do an original story. And this upcoming Sunday, which will be the 22nd, I think. Yeah, the 22nd. I'll do a book review, and then the Sunday after that, it'll be Palm Sunday, so maybe I'll do an original story, or I might see if I can find a more biblical book and really talk about that, since it's going to be leading into Holy Week, and I want to really, I don't know, I want my channel direction to be more godly, more biblical, more helpful if someone wants insight on more spiritual books in that aspect. So I'll look at some stuff and see what happens. But I appreciate if you're watching, and if you've stayed this long, which I don't know if anyone has, but I appreciate the clicks no matter what. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, friends.